Hello. Is that mic too close to my face? Who knows? Anyway, I'm David from Fatal Pixel and making games. Last time I was working on the basic gameplay loop, and I think that's basically working now. So I'm going to mark that as done. I've got a couple of bugs here. Enemies shooting their own shields, and this one's been around for a while, turning left and right. Not reliably working, or not going 90 degrees reliably. And I'm really keen to get to sensors and having the routine be able to branch out instead of just being linear. So I don't think I'll get to that today. I'm going to try and get these bugs out of the way, and then next time I can do that. So this one should be pretty simple, I think. That is not the right thing to press. Here, I'm going to mirror. Shift Alt N. So I'll just pop that there and try and tackle that one next. I might just unhighlight this one actually, just to make it a bit clearer what I'm working on. I just realized these two things have a bit of, oh, you can't see both of those right now. Those two things have a bit of overlap. And sensors and branching. I think actually sensors are like there. So, is that right? Label and go to sensors and branching support. They go together. Oh, actually, I just thought of something that would work with branching that doesn't need a sensor, which is just a time-based branching. But actually, if you want that, maybe you add a clock component. So they could do something for a certain amount of time and then do something else. So it's port branching. I think a first part of sensors and branching is add an enemy sensor. Or maybe just generic bot sensor. I'll go like enemy sensor. First of all, I'm not trying to, at this point, flesh out all of those specific so I'm doing something over here at the same time as I'm talking, and so I'm not actually making my sentences properly. Yeah, I'm not trying to make the set of parts complete or even necessarily logical at this point. Essentially just adding a minimal set of parts that support building the systems, and then after that I'll once all the systems are complete, then I'll start filling out the content, making all of the parts. Anyway, let me get into yeah, those make sense. I think label and go-to actions can be later because sensors are a bit more exciting. All right, so let me jump into development over here. Get the magnifier up. And trying to fix enemies shooting their own shields. So I better just run this. And I suspect this might be related to something. I should check what the friendlies do as well. So it's going to be probably in the robot spawner or in the laser where this is happening. So these are now all randomized, the enemy factories, and I didn't really I haven't thought yet about that from a debugging perspective, where basically I just have to wait until one of these factories. Oh, that's that one there. That's shooting its own shield. It's actually destroyed its own shield. So that's interesting. And it's exploded. There we go. There's another one just there that's going to shoot its own shield. So let me jump over to the scene view so I can take a closer look. Let's just hope that this robot here has not, or that its factory hasn't changed. What's going on? Okay, so right arm laser gun, left arm shield, and I'm just going to let's grab some notes under here about what's going on. So I'll do zoom in on that. Whoops, undo that. So yeah, that means it's basically holding the laser behind. So here's the laser right here. So yeah, the laser's basically further back. laser gun right there, and it has there's the laser spawn point right there. And I believe when a laser beam spawns, they'll probably be doing something. Hang on, let's just have a look. Do I have any visibility into this robot's current action index? 0. Action 0 is shoot laser. It's idle right now, if that's got the right one selected. So let's just see what... it's idle, but what about the laser gun? Yeah, it's on shoot laser. So this animation here, it shoots the laser right in the middle. Here we have an incoming laser. Now, what's the deal with this laser? What layer is it on? Friendly projectiles. Okay. I just grab that animator back so that I can see what are we on this laser beam. Let's just grab that laser gun again. So basically right there is when we should expect it to fire the laser. 1 or 2 more ticks. Okay, so it got hit, but I think its shield just got hit at the same time, unless I'm mistaken. There we go. Okay, so we've got this laser here, laser beam. There. Now its layer is enemy projectiles. The shield. Yep. Here's the actual shield. Okay, so that one just got an animator, but it hasn't got any collider. So I believe the fact that this is enemy bot parts is relevant for this collider. And this top level here has friendly bot parts. Hopefully that's not actually an issue. But let's just see. There we go. So we've had a collision happen between the shield, which should be this actual shield hittable object, and that enemy projectile. So I think if I look in the project settings, oh good, it's already on the right tab here on my physics 2D collisions. I've got enemy bot parts there. So basically this whole column here. So that can collide with enemy bot parts. This is the layer collision matrix, by the way. So there. So this determines what collisions can happen. So I've got enemy bot parts here, and that can collide with default, transparent effects, ignore raycast water, UI. It can collide with friendly factories, can't collide with enemy factories, can collide with friendly bots, can't collide with enemy bots, and I think friendly projectiles, enemy projectiles. We don't want enemy bot parts to collide with enemy projectiles, because that would count as friendly fire, and friendly fire is off. Can hit friendly bot parts, and no. Let me just check this is consistent. So enemy bot parts can collide with friendly bots. friendly projectiles, friendly bot parts, enemy bots can collide with friendly factories. They shouldn't be colliding with enemy factories. They can collide with friendly bots. Now, can friendly bots collide with friendly bots? Yes, so they can collide with each other. Yeah, so basically, like two friendly bots should be able to collide with each other, which means they should be able to collide with. I'm just wondering if they could collide with other friendly bot parts, because the hey Gyro, yeah. How long for your beard to get to this size? That's a tricky one because it's I don't actually remember when I started growing it. See, the trick that I use for growing my beard is I just forget to shave it. And then I forget to shave it for so long that it gets long. But I think this is more than 3 months, less than 6 months. So, but it varies from person to person, really. Some people, some people's hair just won't grow as long or won't grow as fast. So, it's hard to say. But what you could do is measure it and then wait a couple of weeks and measure it again and see how much growth you've got per week. And then you can extrapolate from that to whatever length you want. That could work. So now I'm confused by this. Basically, I was just thinking, like, bot parts should be able to collide with other bot parts from other bots that are friendly or not. But I think it's simpler if it's just the main body of the bot collides, because then, like, at least with friendly collisions. So, enemy bot parts should be able to run into friendly factories, and enemy projectiles should be able to hit friendly factories, and enemy bots should be able to, and enemy factories, if they somehow move, I guess, could run into friendlies. And they can't really move, so it doesn't even matter. Enemy factories. Should they be able to hit enemy bot parts? No. Friendly bot parts, yes. Enemy projectiles? No. Friendly projectiles, yes. Enemy bots? No. Friendly bots, yes. Enemy factories? Hitting enemy factories? I'll say no, just to be consistent with the friendlies. Okay, friendly bots. They should be able to run into enemy bot parts, such as their shields. Not friendly bot parts, because they might hit their own parts if I've done it wrong. Enemy projectiles. Can hit friendly bots, yes. Friendly projectiles, no. Enemy bots. And friendly bots can collide with each other, and friendly bots can collide together, because that's funnier. Okay. I do need to get them bumping off each other as well. It's a bit, when they kind of walk through each other and take collision damage, it's not very noticeable. And so yeah, that's something I really need to fix. Now, enemy bots don't collide with their own parts, do collide with friendly bot parts, don't get shot by their own projectiles, do get shot by friendly projectiles, and can run into other enemy bots. Friendly projectiles can hit enemy bot parts, not friendly bot parts. They can't hit enemy projectiles, so no mid-air projectile collisions. And they can't hit other friendly projectiles either. Okay, enemy projectiles cannot hit enemy bot parts, can hit friendly bot parts, cannot hit enemy projectiles. Friendly bot parts can collide with enemy bot parts, and friendly bot parts cannot collide with friendly bot parts, I'll say, and now enemy bot parts should not collide with enemy bot parts. Now, I don't remember if I don't know if I've actually changed anything there. Anything relevant. No, cannot do that while game is running. Now I better check those settings again in case that has changed. Man, I think all of that was just in play mode, and now I need to do it again. Okay, friendly bot parts. Get rid of that. Enemy projectile. No. Yes. No. Friendly projectile. That. Okay, enemy bot. Yep, friendly bot. Yep. And enemy factories. Oh. Yeah, this is just an alternating pattern with the exception of just here, because projectiles don't hit other projectiles. And these two here, because bots can collide with their buddies. But I guess if their parts are overlapping, they somehow don't tangle them up. Okay. So that is like that. Now I'll save that, which should show up in my changes. But let's just see. Have we got the randomizer? Okay, this is actually changes from last time. So I'll actually what's changed here? Something's moved or added. Project settings. Bundle version went up because I did a release. Physics 2D settings. That's dumb. Okay, not very readable. Layer collision matrix. All right. Anyway, let's just make some commits here. Oop. This is randomized enemy factory production. Okay, and then this one is release. Bundle version just gets incremented when I do a release. And here, that's updating the collision matrix. Let's see if they shoot their own shields now. little bit of randomness involved here because we're zoomed in way too far. We're just counting on some factory randomly having a shield and a laser, and they possibly need to have the shield on a specific arm. I think I might also need to fix the shield a little bit. It's taking its time to build there. So another bug, possible bug to look into. The left arm shield should be rendering behind the bot, not in front of it. All right, what do we got here? I can't actually select these to see what they're going to make, so it's just a surprise. Oh. See, this one's got a laser in the other arm and it seems fine. So is that one. Just have to wait. It's something like every 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Some factory randomly changes. I'm not sure how much control I've got over in the scene view. No, I don't think that magnifier might be making things a bit laggy. Because I think I can't directly control the factories. No, I've got default parts, but not the actual parts. Interesting, but I should be able to just temporarily hack that. Because this selection, when we've clicked on something, it only does that if it's not an enemy. And I could just make it so I can tap into this bit. Serialize field. This will just be don't allow enemy selection. And then we get to here. If it's not null, and either it's not an enemy, or we allow enemy selection. There we go. Let's now stop this and let that recompile. So what that'll do is give me something I can change in the inspector during play that will allow me to select those, but won't carry on outside of play mode. I could do it a little bit of a more sophisticated way. There's my has routine selection. Let me just get that going. So I could specifically set it up so that it allows it during development, doesn't allow it outside of development. Yeah, allow enemy selection, should allow that. And then if I deselect that, I shouldn't be able to now click on these to change the selection. There we go. Is that working? Yeah, there we go, going. Okay, so have we got any? Oh yeah, this one has a laser at the back. So that may be hitting its own shield. Well, it would be hitting its own shield. Pure. Okay, that laser got out of there, no problem. So I think that's fixed. Sweet. I'll just check that in. I might have a quick look at the shield on the left arm rendering in front, because I've got a shield on the left arm, so it's a good opportunity here. It's doing its block. Okay, I'll just get that to about there. Alright. So you there. What are you doing with this? We've got the left arm mount point. We've got the shield. And see, that laser is successfully sitting back behind. That's what this shield should be doing. So I'm looking at the Z position. That's how far into the screen it is. This mount point for the left arm is at 0.05, so positive is away from the camera. This robot is at 0. So then this mount point is 0.05 units behind that, so a 20th of a unit behind that. The shield is at 0 instead of being at wherever the mount point is. So that's at the same coordinate as the robot's body, and the actual shield is now at -1. So that's 1 unit closer to the camera than the bot. And if I have a look at this mount point for the right arm, that's at -0.05, so that's 0.05 units towards the camera, whereas the laser gun on it is at 0. I'm just going to pop this out of 2D view, because sometimes these things are easier to visualize. Where's my selected bot? Right there, okay. Yeah, so we can kind of see there's the shield, a whole unit away, just there. Even though that mount point, if we come in right there, mount point with the shield on it is actually a little behind the butt. I'll just move it up a bit like that. And the mount point for the other arm is on the other side of the butt. It's just that the shield is a whole. Well, it's interesting. The actual shield object is at 0, and then the nested actual shield object is at -1. So that'll do it. Just make a quick note there, so that just in case my short-term memory resets itself. Yeah, so basically, that point at 0.05. But at 0, shield wrapper at 0, shield at -1. So now let me have a look here at the shield prefab. So this is the prefab for the shield, and you can see it's like 0, XYZ 0, and the actual shield got positioned at -1. So I think we want that at 0 because we just want it at whatever distance towards or away the camera is. So I think that makes sense. It would make kind of more sense as well if it was like flipped over and had a different sprite for the back of the shield, but I'm not doing fancy graphics right now. I got a bit carried away and didn't just do squares or rectangles, which is a quicker way to get up and running. So that solves that part of it, but I have a feeling this is still going to be at 0, which means it will still render in front of the robot. Similarly, like the laser, even though the mount point was at 0.05, that laser was at 0. Was it? Hold on a minute, I'll just have a look. Should have left that running, shouldn't I? Because I don't have a bot there anymore. Well, I've got this one, I've got Boop, but that doesn't really count because I built Boop's lasers manually, which is why Boop can have leg laser. But also doesn't work because it's not properly wired up. I could have factored that into the design, being able to just manually assemble a bot out of parts. Anyway, let me get it running again, because it's really the code probably in robot spawner here. Just pin that and unpin these others that I'm not using. Let me pin that again because I accidentally unpinned it. Right. Now just click on here so we can run a bit. Hopefully we'll get some good bots here. Actually, we don't really need to wait for good bots, do we? We can make our own. So I'll do the friendly bots here. So I'll do one like that. And this one the other way around. Can I drop that on there? Yeah, I can. Good. Like that. That should be basically enough, really, to see what we want to see. So these two up here should represent the two different directions we could put them at. So we got this one. Okay, so the laser and shield seem to be in the right place. Got a mount point at negative 0.05. Shield still at 0. But that's a 0 offset from the mount point, so that's actually good. That's in exactly the position it should be. And the left arm mount point, 0.05, and that's got no offset from it. So that's looking good. And then here's our other one just here. There. So this one, I'm not expecting the mount points to be in the wrong place. But yeah, we can see the laser here and the shield there. That's looking correct. Don't get too much of a look at that one because it's running into the wall. Actually, this one will get to go a long way. Just looking at, oops. There, the shield isn't very visible there, but that's not too important at this point. You can still see it. All right, fix those two bugs. So I'm just going to close that one, and I'll just make a quick commit with those. Just make sure my scene's all saved. Objects all saved. Oh, right. This is Yep, that's fine. So fix. Collision and position. That really jumps around on the magnifier, doesn't it? All right. That's that fixed. Right, what's next? Do we want to tackle that? Yes, I think so, because it's kind of annoying. The only thing is, right now movement is done completely with the animator, which I think is maybe why it's having the issue. I still don't really understand why. Because what we've got is, we've got this turn left. It's using this robot turn left animation. It's there. And here it is. This is the animation, and we've got basically rotation XYZ 0. And we're making our way around to rotation Z 90 degrees. So Z is the axis that goes straight into the camera. So if I take boop here, it is the blue axis that you can see right there. So if we rotate around Z 90 degrees, now looking for rotation, 90. Pointing straight up. We go another 90, so we get to 180. Another 90, so we go 270. And another 90. So we'll go 360, oops, 3600. 360, which is the same as 0. So, for some reason, even though that should be doing what I want it to, it just doesn't sometimes. And I really don't know what is causing that. I'm going to have a quick Google of that. There's a bunch of stuff I had open from the last stream. Let me close those. Oops. Let me reopen that one because I forgot to read that. I haven't read that so far. Not read, what was it? I was going to look up what he does. So, got a Unity animation rotation. People, where they're rotating in the wrong direction. I'm curious about this one because it's slightly possible that it's like part of the same weakness. Getting them as vector 3 compared to quaternions, these are poorly suited to rotation tweening because of an issue called gimbal lock, explained here. Well, that actually, see, this could be what it's related to. one axis at a time, I'm only doing one axis at a time. I'm going to watch a video about it on stream. Oh, what is this? Rotation interpolation. You can use the animation window to choose how Unity applies rotation to your game object. Unity uses interpolation to calculate how a game object visually moves from one orientation to another in your animation. Different interpolation methods look different in motion, but have the same result. Well, if the same result, that's a broken result. Unity offers 3 types of interpolation for your animations. Okay, so we've got Euler angle interpretation. I don't know if that's meant to be Euler or Euler. So what happens when you start learning languages? Start to second guess things. Oh, hey! Reddit Art Player. That's an interesting name. I sort of stopped asking ChatGPT stuff. Well, documentation is usually the best place to look first, because, like, I mean, unless you've got someone who's got the specific problem you've got and solved it, that's sometimes the quickest. But I mean, basically, if you go to the docs, you're going to probably learn something about how things work. If you're using something that has good documentation, Unity's is decent-ish. It's pretty good, actually. There's room for improvement, but not as much room as there is in a lot of things. And I mean, it kind of depends what's going on, because sometimes the problem is you just don't understand the system that you're using properly. Like in this case, I didn't know that I could go in here and have a look at what am I looking at? This is a walk animation. I need the turn left. I didn't know that I could have a look at this Z, and apparently, no, I've only got the option to remove it. Here we go. Yeah, no, on that interpolation. I didn't even know this menu existed. So was that Euler angles quaternion, or I can just choose quaternion? And does that mean I get? I don't know what that does. But basically, whoops. That looks right. Now, the problem I have is that this has been a bit unreliable, hard to reproduce, or not. It doesn't reproduce every time. Let me pop that back into 2D view, and I'm just going to grab all the friendly factories, and I'm going to change their routine. So they're going to, I'll just get them to turn right, then walk forward, then turn left, and then walk forward. So I'll just kind of zigzag their way across by default, and that'll give me a chance to have something getting the wrong angles. And that it should be sending it. So there we go. YouTube didn't send the notification. Yeah, I do usually try to get on at the same time on the 3 days a week that I'm on, but I'm not sure what the issue is with that. I'm also not sure why all those factories did not have a routine with a turn. Oh, right. I know why. It does have a turn, but they don't have standard legs, so I'll just change the default legs on all of those to standard legs. And let's just do none as well, so we get them spawning faster for the default left arm. There we go. And yeah, to continue answering this question, ChatGPT, in my experience, it doesn't tend to save much time, if any. It often takes longer because you'll ask it something and it'll give you an answer, even if it doesn't have a good answer. There we go. So we've got that. That's clearly not doing the right thing. It's interesting. I'm getting the same amount of, like the same angle of turn with every bot. So we're going to walk forward. So the current rotation, Z rotation, 9.555. Okay, let's get that walk forward finished, and then it can do another turn. Okay, it should be doing a turn right now. This is another one where actually if I switch out of the 2D view, and if I just go have a look at it from this axis, like it's literally got no other rotation. So it's really weird to me. What about the robot spawner? Yeah, it has no rotation, standard scale. And let's see, this is where the sprite is rendering to, where the animator is attached. Apply root motion, could that be? I wonder if apply root motion could possibly be implicated. Not sure. So it was at 9 point something, so it should end up at negative 81 or something, negative 80 something. Those two have hit the wall. So negative 80.44. So I'm going to hit the wall as well. Yes, it's got plenty of walk forward left. Well, what about this one here? It's really strange. Yes, fixed the robots shooting their own shields and made the shields in the back arm not appear in front. So that's fixed. And I'm just trying to have a look at this turning angle thing. But I think the ultimate fix really is to just move away from using animation to do the rotation. And instead just do a interpolated rotation, basically do it manually with a goal angle in mind. But interestingly, this is, let's see, negative 80.44. I'm just going to write that here. And now we're doing a turn left. So I guess we expect to get to 9.56 positive by the end of that left turn. And yeah, it has actually rotated 90 degrees that time. I will just grab this, move it a bit further that way so it can continue its existence. We'll get the walk forward finished. All right. So 9.555. Is it turning 90 this time? It's turning 90 degrees. So it's ended up at the wrong angle, but somehow now it's going 90 degrees. So I don't know. Don't know what's causing that. I haven't tried all of the different options for interpolation, but I don't see how it would make any difference to where it ends up, regardless how it's being interpolated, because the finishing position is still the same. So yeah, I might have a little bit more of a look at this in case there's something in here that I'm just not handling that I should be. See, I guess that's like when it's rotating, what plane is it rotating through? So yeah, with quaternion it'll be the shortest distance to a particular orientation. So that'll actually always do it the correct way, like left or right. Interesting. So you want to use Euler angles when if you're rotating something, like you want it to rotate more than 180. Interesting. Yeah, okay, I think I'll have a little go and see if I can switch just mirror that up to here. That's my current thing I'm looking at. So basically next stream, I'm going to start working on sensors. But I have that mirrored 3 times here. Basically, I think I'll try and solve this by putting, change to manually rotating to a specific direction. So I've got a couple of things to solve there. For one thing, in Robot, at the moment, whenever it's doing some kind of movement, I'm going to include those. Whenever it's doing some kind of movement, it uses the animator to track the fact that it's doing movement. So we start the animation, and basically in our update loop, we're checking if it is doing an action. So we just check, is a part doing an action? And we've got that idle animation. If that's running, then we say it's not. If it's playing an animation and it's not the idle animation, then we say it's doing an action. So basically, if we're not running turn left or turn right during turning, it's going to say not doing an action. So I guess it's pretty much going to be some sort of a like rotate to angle. Just there, so and I guess if that's happening with those, then this one would logically also be moving until it reaches a particular position. So probably interpolate a quaternion. So that's that, and then the other thing, if I'm making this change, I can possibly do that using the I can possibly change the legs part to handle that motion. So that might be good to do as well. It would just need to have the transform of the robot. So, all right. Let's start with turn left. Let's see what we can do here. Might be easier to do it straight in the part, actually, because then the part can keep track of its movement. So what is standard legs? What have they got? Here. Standard legs are, let's have a legs script. Fair enough. So let's have a look at that legs. All right, so it is a simple activatable part, and it's just calling activate from its base, which is not doing much. I mean, it's doing stuff. It's not doing the movement. So it's checking that that it can do that action. Checking that it's not on cooldown or broken. It will start playing an animation with that name and return activated. So it's not got anything to do with movement in there. Just looking, I think, yeah, pretty much all of those checks are okay. Is doing action will need to be a bit different. So no problem, okay. Yep, that's what I'm actually doing that to do just there. I may well run out of time here. That's okay. So what do I need? I need the transform of the robot. So that's something that we don't have here. But we could just activate to pass that in. That would make it available. Or we could find the parent in order to move it, which would be 2 layers up. Let's do that for now. Just have this passed in instead. This is more efficient. But now get component in parent. Does this have the same semantics as for child, where it's keeps going up the tree till it finds one? I'll quickly check. Gets a reference to a component of type T on the same game object as the component specified, or any parent of the game object. Any parent. Yep, that looks like it does what I expect. Or at least the docs claim it does, so we'll see that potentially working. That already is a local. All right, let's have a look. So we're going to want to rotate the bot or something. So essentially, is it a movement action? Or is it a supported movement action? I think the best way to figure out whether it's a supported movement action for the legs, the quickest anyway, is just we've got base to activate. And that will basically, if it's a supported thing, we go. Yeah, the base implementation of activate. If it's supported, we'll end up just here. Part activation status dot activated. And so that'll handle if it's on cooldown or broken, and it will also handle knowing that it is a compatible action. So great. Now we just need to, so now we know that it is what we don't know. Part activation status dot activated. Well, I guess if it's not equal to that, then we just want to return status straight away. Yes, now we've got a guard. So from here on in, we know we need the bot, and then we also need to just figure out what the action is. I'm just going to go into robot and grab this. So that whole switch, I think. And we'll work from that because that is basically the switch with all of the relevant actions. Debug. Yeah, we apparently are not using the engine. Okay. And that's really an error. Unrecognized. Legs action. We're not going to play malfunction on the animator because this is not the robot animator. But that's sufficient for that. Now we're not going to play an animation on here. We're going to do something else instead. So I want some, don't click on that. I want some state here. So we're going to have a private let's just do a Boolean for now. Which is false. So any of these basically need to, actually right now, we're not going to handle that one. Cool. There we go. I think I hit the wrong meta key for my key shortcuts. We'll just handle turn left. So moving equals true. And could use a coroutine to just move to the position and then set movement to false. Let's start coroutine auto. It's deprecated. So start coroutine. And I don't have a coroutine yet. There's a few overloads I can use here. Enumerator, routine. Yeah. So I'll probably use that one. Oop, come back here. That one. Turn left routine, something like that. Which doesn't exist yet, but no problem. And actually, I think I'll put the moving equals true into that. I didn't want the string form. String form should be fine, I think. I've got to remember how to do coroutines. Yeah. It's like we want a IEnumerator or IEnumerable with something like that. We've got that coroutine in this example. Wait and print. So here we go. Private IEnumerator, name of, and something. So I don't need private keyword here. IEnumerator. Okay, and the reason that is like that. That comes from system collections. We're not going to throw. This doesn't have a yield, right? That's your problem with it. With end frame. There is a way to have a coroutine run every frame. So this one uses a wait for seconds. To just wait for a set number of seconds. But hopefully this is another example. I was just waiting. Start the coroutine. Yeah. Let's have another little Google. Coroutine every frame. Maybe there's something in there. Yeah, maybe just wait for end of frame. Is the right thing to do, is it? Yep. Here we go. This is gradually reducing an object's alpha. Fade. I got a for loop. So this basically just did that in a single frame. You could implement it in update, but here we are, coroutine. So yield return null, I think is what we want. I thought it was probably something like that, but I did want to check because I haven't done them for a while. Yeah, the yield return null line is the point where execution pauses and resumes the following frame. Okay, cool. So let's just, like right now, we just set it to moving and then moving true and then set moving false the next frame, which isn't what we want, but basically, I want to rotate to the left to a particular angle. My start angle is going to equal transform.rotation Z. The target angle is going to be my start angle plus 90. Let's just do that for the moment. Grabbing my rotation. Oh, it's not actually the we want the bot. Right there. Now we've got our bot transform. So I'll grab its current rotation. And then we're going to look at that example code because I was going to interpolate based on something, start time or whatever. Oh, wait. Yeah, I don't think I need to interpolate, actually. I probably just need to rotate by up to a certain angle, depending on how fast I want it to rotate. So what's that doing? For starting at 1, greater than 0, minus equals 0.1. So they're doing it in increments there. Little increments. So I basically just need to start at start angle. Well, the current angle is not equal to the target angle. These are floating point numbers, so that's not going to be a reliable comparison. I also can't necessarily do greater than and less than because it's potentially going to be a bit weird, depending if it crosses a threshold. It's a bit like a background thread. It runs on the main thread, but it's it's basically a task that's paused and picked up again at an appropriate time, which there are different things you can do. You can have like a wait for seconds, so you can wait a certain amount of time. If you do yield return null, so basically it can yield multiple values. So it's which is why it is an I in numerator. And the values it returns sort of represent various ways that you want to skip time or do other things like that. I'm not an expert on coroutines, but I pretty much only use them in Unity to make stuff happen. Oh, and also I'm tired, and it's kind of stream finishing time, so no wonder I'm tired. I think I can actually, I can't do greater than, less than. That's the current rotation. I'm going to use time.delta time here. And I am going to loop between the two values. Got my time starting at 0. So I'm actually going to interpolate this value between start angle and target angle. So basically we're going to add time.delta time. So that is the amount of time that has passed since the last frame. It'll usually be 0.16 something seconds. So 60 frames a second, but if it's slower, I don't want the plots to rotate slower or faster. So I'll base it on delta time, and then the current angle is going to be Unity Engine's floating point math dot loop angle. So let's see. Yep, an A, a B, and a T. So T, that'll represent a time between 0 and 1. Or like a proportion of the time that has passed. In this case, I'm going for 1 second, so I can just leave it as is. We're going to start from start angle. We're going to go to target angle. And time is going to be that T, which is elapsed time. Why don't I call it elapsed time, hey? Because that makes a bit more sense. So now we're recomputing our current angle to be that. And then we're basically just going to get our rotation, read the current rotation of the bot. And do Z, because we're just rotating around Z. We don't need to do anything too complicated. And then set that back into there. So that should set that rotation. Same as lerp, but make sure the values interpolate correctly when they wrap around 360 degrees. Returns the interpolated float result between angle A and angle B based on the interpolation value T. So if I was going to have it rotate over something other than a second, I would adjust that. Now, am I ready to basically get this working? The only thing is that that condition there is not necessarily going to work. Just say the difference between them. The absolute difference between them. By the way, I'm pretty sure this floating point maths library, like the reason to use this as opposed to the built-in C# one, is because it's probably using the graphics card, so it's probably going to be a lot faster. But I'm not sure if that's actually what is happening. I guess processors are pretty good at doing floating point operations and things as well. So I'm not sure. It could just be for convenience that it's bundled together nicely. I should look that up before I even comment on it on stream anyway. Okay, so basically I want the absolute difference between to be less than there's a number in C# that represents a very small number. So if you've got a floating point error, float.epsilon is what it is. So this is basically a very small number that is big enough, or it's at least as big as the floating point error that you would have on a float. And so basically if these are essentially the same number, but they're out by a floating point error amount, that will make sure that it still can hit that condition instead of having, something just spin forever because it's not doing that. Okay, so we're doing a rotation, and then that yield return null to happen in there, so it can keep looping through that loop and only do it every frame, not do it in between frames. Like do it all at once synchronously. That would be no good. After it's finished that, then we basically just set moving back to false, and away we go. So that should be all good, except for the fact that moving is not doing what it needs to do, which is not using system, are we? In here, we need to override is doing action. Just grab the existing one there and get back into legs. There. If it's moving, it's doing an action. And it's not virtual, it's override, because we're overriding that virtual one. So now this is going to report moving when it's turning left, and it should just do that turn left coroutine. And none of the others, and that should be fine. We'll get an error logged if it tries to move, like walk forward or turn right. Now I'm wondering, is that sufficient? The part is going to do that, so I need to get the robot and say, if you're talking about turn left, then don't worry about it. Is movement. So I'm actually going to just comment out that turn left from here and just let it think that's not movement. And because the way that it's treating movement, basically, so we shouldn't actually end up with this ever being called. And yeah, that turn left should maybe work now. Maybe, crossing my fingers, because I need to wrap up the stream. So Let me get about turning left, see what happens. And if that works, then turning right. It's very similar, it's just different different direction. Maybe even just a different target angle. Okay, let's... So that was a turn right. Are these... Hang on. Oh, interesting, it's just skipping across that. Hang on, let's just change this routine up a bit. By just making it just turn left repeatedly. That one didn't. Oh, that's not turn left, is it? What am I doing here? There. And can't select those guys right now. If I was smart, I would do it with this one. Just keep the left turn. Okay, so yeah, it's not actually doing anything, which is interesting. Unrecognized leg action work, move forward. Getting spammed with that. Yeah, I think I better wrap that up. I'll just make a quick note here. It's a work in progress. I've written code. There we go. Needs debugger, I think. All right, well, thanks for watching. I'm going to wrap it up there. I'm tired. I think I might be getting sick, so I better get some sleep so that that doesn't happen. Thanks for joining me. And, oh, Jesus, at the time. Yeah, I think next time I should be able to get that fully working, and that'll be fantastic because the movement should be more reliable since it's turning to a target angle rather than which I might have miscalculated or something. Hold on one second here. Positive Z is left, yeah. Just checking I had it rotating in the right in the right direction. Cool. Yes, I'll definitely pick that up next stream because I've accidentally gone over time. So yeah, have a good one. Take care all. Good night. I'm just reading other people's. Oops, open it there. I'm just reading other people's messages. And yeah, talk to you next time.